Hello, CBSL. This is Commissioner Dixon, joined here by Coach Jay. Coach Jay, what was your thoughts on the 2032 season?
It was an exciting season. Happy to see another mod win with Florida. First one from the SEC to win the championship. A lot of new teams. So excited to see what the future holds for the CBSL.
Yeah, I totally agree. I thought it was exciting to see the SEC finally coming through and gain their first ever championship. We've kind of joked about it for quite some time. It's kind of like we have some fun running jokes in this league, like Wichita State, since they always seem to get knocked down the
Elite Eight. Yep.
Except for this year, obviously. And then also, seeing the SEC never win. So it was kind of cool to see Florida essentially come from behind with a massive injury, a massive loss, and they still overcame that, found a way to win.
While still being an underdog the whole time, too.
Yeah, exactly. And wasn't it kind of cool that their roster didn't even feature a 50-plus player?
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, I've definitely had some high-class characters on my team, definitely 50 overalls, and never even touched close to the Final Four.
It's true. I mean, you had the number one overall pick for 2 years in a row in the NBSL draft. That streak ended this year with Duke's one, but the 2 years before, you had the number one overall pick.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, but that's sometimes how it just goes. So,
yeah, I think that's a testament to Coach Dirty Dan for recruiting a quality, well-rounded roster and really putting the time and effort into, finding role players and leaders.
Yep, and strong defensive players. They've definitely held every team that they've played well below what their average scoring is per game, too.
Exactly. And looking at the all-league teams from this past season, can you tell me how many players from Florida you think made the first, second, or third team for all-league team this year?
I would say maybe one.
Okay.
I couldn't see more than one.
Yep, you're right. And it's their star point guard, Mercier, who ended up being the third team all-league. So I kind of feel like that shows how awesome this program was, because it was so well-rounded. And I think it's an important thing for newer coaches or coaches that are trying to build up their program. They don't always have to have the superstars. They need to have a well-balanced depth lineup that can then develop over time.
Yep, and team chemistry, getting a lot of momentum and hot streaks right at the end of the season. It's very similar to what you see in real life and March Madness and everything, with teams get a hot streak at the end of the season and they just take off and run through the tournament.
I agree. I totally agree. And then now I want to get another hot take from you here. Who do you think was the biggest letdown or disappointment this season in CBSL?
Ooh, I got to cut at your heartstrings a little bit, but it's got to be UCLA.
I agree. I mean, the Bruins seem like they are allergic to confetti. That team, it's like regular season. Oh man, I kind of forget. There's this one coach, I think it's an NFL coach, who great during the regular season, but as soon as it gets to the postseason, can't win a game.
Yep.
And
exactly that.
Yeah, that's kind of my view of Coach Dixon.
Well, you'll get one eventually. You'll get one.
I thought that's my year. I mean, I had the number one overall seed with UCLA and the number 2 overall seed with Notre Dame, and still nothing.
Nothing. Yep.
A first round exit to a number 17 seeded Illinois, and a second round exit to the eventual champion Florida Gators.
Illinois is tough. Illinois is a tough team to see every year. So, Ghost does a great job recruiting, and he does really well with balancing his teams too. Every time you look at his roster, he's not missing a position anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. Coach Bruce Weber of the Fighting Illini, and Coach Earl of Auburn Tigers, as his personas there. He's done a phenomenal job. And in fact, I mean, he had last year in 2031, he won the championship with Illinois. This year, 2032, his second team, Auburn, made it to the championship game.
Yeah. Yeah. He's just a great coach all around.
Yeah, definitely far exceeding his counterpart that he defeated in round 1.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, hey, to wrap this thing up, I'm very excited for what's coming up in 2033. What do you think is your favorite or thing that you're looking most forward to in the 2033 season?
I'm excited to see the growth of the new expansion teams. A lot of those guys seem really active and motivated. So I'm excited to see what kind of recruiting and tactics that they have. All of them being fairly fresh to CBSL, so they're kind of new, learning all the ropes. So it's going to be interesting to see what tactics they take going about their coaching drive and coaching career moving forward. So will we see them go recruiting heavily on international players, or we'll see them do like a lower 3-star approach and kind of build a program, or are they going to be like Wichita State where they just go heavily on transfers and just prey on those? So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
I agree. I'm super excited. It's going to be a fun year, and it's going to be a great new start for CBSL, moving from 40 to 45 teams. And then as a last little bit here, as the commissioner of the high school basketball league that we have here, I hear that there's some expansion taking place in HBSL. Is that correct?
Yes. We added another 5 teams. So we are up to 50. We added one of each conference or region. I believe there's Gaffney, South Carolina, West Lynn in Oregon, Bishop Montgomery in California. Let's see. There's one in Iowa. I can't remember the name of it. But yes, very excited about seeing those teams come in. They're definitely going to have some growing. They're very bottom of the power rankings right now. But the last expansion teams are growing. Actually, the number 1 team from this year coming up is one of the expansion teams from last time, which has gotten a bunch of the Create a Player contest on there. So it's no surprise to see them at the top.
And if I'm not mistaken, having 5 new teams going from 45 to 50 in HBSL hints at something coming our way in CBSL. Is that correct?
It does. We see another expansion coming in the near future.
And for those of you that don't know, Coach Jay runs the high school basketball sim league here inside of CBSL. Those players move forward and graduate from high school and are the recruits that we bring on to our college teams. And we need essentially to expand, if I'm not mistaken, Coach Jay, in order to expand CBSL, we need to first expand HBSL to get the number of recruits to increase.
Yes. So typically with the 45 team that we have now, it's got about 186 recruits that come through each class. So once it goes up to 50, that number will expand, and it just makes it easier for coaches to properly fill their teams, and we have enough players to go around without anybody just going dry without any recruits at all.
Thank you so much, Coach Jay, for joining us today, and super excited for the 2033 season. Let's get out there and go get it, CBSL.